All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how the final destination for the curses is to be a perpetual tormentor towards the heathen, or a perpetual tormentor to the heathen. And if I can fit that whole title in, I'm going to try and write that whole title in and make that be the title of this video, man, because that is a fact when you understand the Bible, that is what the end result of the curses is going to be. It's going to be a perpetual tormentor to the heathen every time they commit iniquity under the kingdom of the Israelites, right? Now, let me go to Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 6, not Hebrews chapter 8. And I'm not going to be speaking about what the new covenant is in this particular video, but I just want to point out this particular thing here. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 6, but now have ye obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much he is also the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. Now, when you actually understand what the covenant is, right? The covenant had the law, it contained the blessings, and it contained the curses, right? And within the law, it contained all the things that we're supposed to do as Israelites, right? The blessings was the prize that we would get, the benefits that we would get for keeping the laws, and the curses was the punishment that we'd get for breaking the laws, right? But the blessings and the curses were never a thing that was like wrong with the covenant. That was never something that was wrong with the covenant. The only thing that was ever wrong with the covenant was the Israelites, right? And I'll just read the first bit of verse 8. It says, for finding fault with them, right? The fault of the old covenant was the Israelites, and that's why the only thing that's going to be changed is the Israelites. When it comes to the new covenant, the Israelites physically are going to be changed. The people that the covenant's with was never the problem with the covenant. It was that the people that the covenant was made with had a malignant, the scriptures speak about it being a malignancy of the heart, right? A malignant root, I believe it explains it as, in the book of you know what, let me see if I can find that. In the book of 2nd Ezra, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd chapter, it goes into how the people that had a malignancy or the malignity of the root wasn't changed. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Let's see. Let me see if I can find that, man. Okay, here it is. 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 22. Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still. So the only thing that was wrong with the old covenant, right, was the Israelites' hearts. It wasn't that the Israelites themselves were the wrong people for the covenant to be made with, so God decided to, in the future, make a new covenant with everyone. No, it was a certain secret fault that the Israelites had put within them, man, right? And therefore, if we understand that, then we have to also understand that these things are true, that the Israelites was not the wrong people for God to make the covenant with, and the blessings was not the wrong reward for keeping the covenant. And then also the curses was not the wrong punishment for breaking the laws, right? So I'll read Hebrews chapter 8 verse 6 again. But now have he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. And the better promise is that this time when you keep the covenant, this time the covenant and the laws are going to just be put in you so that you keep them naturally. It's not going to be a thing that you have to go out of your way to think about. It's just going to be pre-programmed within you as a child of God, as an Israelite, as a children of Israel. You're going to have it pre-programmed in you to keep the laws perfectly all the time, right? Never falling. And in doing that, this is going to be activated within the children of Israel, every single one of them. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do his commandments, which I commanded this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And along with all the other blessings, one of the things that's going to happen with the curses is that they're never going to fall upon the Israelites ever again, because the Israelites are never going to meet the requirements for the curses to bother them anymore, which the requirements for the Israelites to face the curses are them sinning, right? And the requirements for the Israelites to face the blessings are them keeping the law. So when they're keeping it perfectly all the time, they're never going to face the curses again. But does that mean that the curse is going to be thrown away? No. The curses are going to be a perpetual, continual tormentor to the Gentiles, right? To all of those nations that hated the Israel and persecuted us, right? Which is everyone, which is everyone. It's everyone. There's not no nation that didn't play a part in it, man. Now let's go Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy power have driven thee, right? So what this is saying is that the Israelites had to go through the blessings and had to go through the curses, but then they was going to mention both of these things, the blessing and the curse, among all the nations whither they would be driven. And the reasons why, if you understand the curses, go into Deuteronomy 28 and 64 in particular, which I'll read now. And Yahweh thy power shall, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So that's a curse, to be scattered in every single nation. That's not a good thing. The fact that Israelites look like every single nation right now is actually a curse. That's because of a curse that made that happen. The reason why Gentiles are thinking that they've got a chance of salvation, because the Bible speaks about Gentiles, which is talking about Israelite foreigners following the ways of the Gentiles, is as a result of a curse, right? It's as a result of the curses, man. That's the reason why all these nations have got children of Israel among them right now. That's the whole reason why the word of God needs to be sent to all these nations, sent towards and sent in and heard in every single nation, because the children of Israel are there as a result of the curse, right? Verse 2. And shalt return unto Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, which is what's happening now, right? With the Israelites speaking about the word of the Lord and telling it the truth. That then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yahweh thy power has scattered thee. And that's specific to the children of Israel. That's not a thing for everyone. That's not a thing for everyone. If any of thine be driven out to the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy power to gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy power of all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And that's going to result in the children of Israel being blessed continually. So therefore, what happens to the curses then, right? If the Israelites are going to always be blessed, does that mean that God's going to throw the curses away? Does that mean that he's going to throw the curses away, and now the Israelites are no longer going to, because the Israelites are no longer going to be cursed, there's no need for anyone to be cursed? Is that what Yahweh's going to do? No. He's going to make the curses become a perpetual tormentor to the Gentiles in the kingdom of the Israelites, man. It's going to perpetually bother and trouble them. They're never going to remove themselves from them completely. They're going to go through periods of time where they're okay because they've been keeping the laws more righteously, but then they're still always going to have that same thing like how we had, where we break the laws, where we were breaking them. They're never going to have a light at the end of the tunnel where they become completely changed and blessed like how we were. They're never going to have that, right? That's never going to be the end goal of their portion, right? They're going to always remain in that continual cycle and loop of keeping it for a bit, failing and getting cursed. They're going to continue in that path forever. And people like to always say a light to the Gentiles. The Israelites existing is going to always be a reminder of why they want to keep them, because they're going to look over at us and be like, man, so that's the kind of way that I can try and hope to be like. But they're never going to reach it though, because that's a specific reward that God made in his own choice, due to his own election, to make one nation be like that and the other nations not like that, man. The curse is going to be a perpetual tormentor to the heathen. It's not like it's a tormentor where we're going to be bothering them. No, that's the way how he's going to set it up. They're never going to be like the children of Israel, right? The Israelites are going to show them how to live and do things to make them sin less, but they're never going to be like how we are. Certain sins might be committed way less in our kingdom, like adultery, for example, but certain other things, just because of them not being under the covenant that we're under, they're going to not keep those as good. They're not going to be able to keep them like how we are. because that would result in immortality. And Yahweh never promised them that he was going to circumcise their hearts, their hearts, but he promised us that he would circumcise ours, as I just read it in verse 6 of Deuteronomy, this chapter 30. Verse 7, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So the curses are not going to be thrown away. It's something that's going to be put upon the heathen. It's not just something that's going to be, oh, the Israelites are free now from the curses, so now I'm going to throw them away. No. And the law is not something that was going to be thrown away neither, because the Israelites are going to be made to keep the law perfectly. And the Gentiles, also known as the heathen, they're going to be made to keep the laws as well through the rod of iron of the Israelites, man. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. So the Israelites are going to be the people that are the teachers of the law, the judges of the law. They're going to be the ones that have got they're going to be the only ones that have the true ability to judge according to the law, because they're the only ones that are going to be keeping it perfectly, right? We're going to be the only ones that actually have the right to judge anybody else according to these laws, because we're going to be the only one that's keeping them. So we ain't going to be no hypocrite rulers. We're going to be telling it the true way. And the curses are going to be a perpetual tormentor every single time these heathens sin. They're going to go through phases of doing good, and then they're going to always have that corruptness within them, that corruptible, right, and that mortal within them that makes them sin again, and then have to be punished according to the law for said sin. Every single time that's going to happen, man, and that's going to lead to the heathen never been able to have the immortality that the Israelites have. And that's what's going to show that in the whole realm of the whole creation, right? That it was always more blessed to be an Israelite than anybody else. And this is the way how Yahweh said it out. This is the Israelites that are going to receive this beautiful thing. It's not because of how anything that they did in particular of their own self, man. But I'm going to say this, it's going to be better to be a heathen than to be an Edomite. It's better to be a Gentile of any other nation than an Edomite, man. Because the Edomites, after 1,000 years of the kingdom, are not going to exist anymore. They're never going to be seen of. They're never going to be heard of again. And the rulership of the kingdom is going to be beautiful, and it's going to be righteous. If anyone does anything evil to you, they will be judged according to the law. The time of getting away with wickedness is going to not be non-existent in the kingdom. Every single transgression of God's laws is going to be punished. Every single time. There's never going to be no wickedness that slips under the rug, that gets through and escapes. There's never going to be none of that, like how it is in this world. But you're seeking for justice and it never comes. Verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. We're going to be rebuking these nations and judging them according to the law, not according to what can get us a better financial reward. Not according, this nation's got oil, so we're going to go over there and claim like they're breaking the laws so that we can go over there, and they're oppressing their people so that we can go over there and steal. If they ain't breaking the law, we ain't going to have a need to say anything to them. But they eventually will break the law, and they'll be judged according to the law. They're not going to be judged because we want to steal from them, like how it is in this world with Esau. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, meaning that the weapons of warfare are going to be destroyed, and the materials are going to be used for things that build on the earth rather than destroy, right? And they shall, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall lift up sword against nation, meaning we're going to be the ones that decide arguments. We're going to be the argument settlers in the kingdom. We're going to stop you nations. If Moab's got a problem with Ham, and they start thinking that they're going to try and go against some war against each other, no, you're not going to. No, you're not going to. If they even start thinking about, we're going to, you know what, us Moabites, we're going to tool up and run upon them. Okay, they ain't no more swords and spears anymore, but to hell with it, we're going to go in hand-to-hand combat then. We're going to go in there hand-to-hand combat, like back in the days with the martial arts thing that we used to do. We're going to roll up on them like that, hand-to-hand, straight fisted cobbles warfare like that. No, you're not going to. We're gonna roll up. They might just see a chariot go over the sky and be like, y'all better cease and desist right now before some laser beams start Hey, before some laser beams start flying out these chariots, man. And if y'all don't listen to that, we're going to park that chariot up, jump down, and remove y'all from fighting ourselves, man. We ain't going to be having no disturbance. Y'all ain't going to be able to disturb the peace in the kingdom. And don't try and disturb the peace. If we have to go from eating beautiful fruits of the kingdom to have to worry about what you heathens are doing, and y'all are disturbing our peace, it's not going to be nice for you. We're going to want the earth to be just on cruise control, righteousness mode. We're going to want to chill, man. We're going to want to get a rest in life. Because right now, we ain't been having no peace, man. We've been having to worry about things that haven't even happened. We got so much different things that we have to stop and pray to Yahweh Hashem. I hope this don't happen. Pray, I hope this don't happen. Don't let this happen. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. Don't let this happen. Neither shall they learn war anymore. And we ain't going to allow no wars to be going off in this earth neither, man. Right? We're going to stop you people from trying to do any madness and destroy Yahweh's earth, man. Right? And I'm going to end the video there. Right? I end it at 1:44. Right? All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Ba'Shem Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.